Welcome to the Terms and Definitions video. This is going to explain to you the different terms that are used within the industry to help you identify with the right insurance policy. Buying insurance is no fun, and having to use it can be even harder. We want to walk you through a typical process one would have if you had, for example, an appendicitis or fell off a skateboard at 45 miles per hour. And you wanted to try and understand all of your medical bills. Here's an example. First of all, you'd have a hospital bill, a surgeon bill, an assistant surgeon bill, and perhaps a radiologist. Great! Now that you have these invoices, they all get sent to the insurance company. Here's where you will have the most savings with your health insurance plan. All of these bills are real. However, the insurance company has already negotiated these expenses, and through the process of claim, you will receive a significant reduction of charges when you see your explanation of benefits. This process will create patient savings. This means that 25% to 50% is often subtracted from these invoices and will be forgiven or disappear. These negotiated savings substantially lower the total amount you owe to these providers. It may look like this after all your patient savings, although $20,000 is a lot lower than the original $55,000. This amount could throw many people into bankruptcy. Good news is, now another part of the insurance starts to work. This is when your deductible comes into play. So you're probably wondering at this point, what does the term deductible mean? The deductible is the amount of expenses that must be incurred before an insurer will pay any expenses. In other words, it's the part of the losses or expense before any insurance policy begins to pay for medical expenses. Here's an example. Let's say the remaining bill total was $20,000 and your deductible is $5,000. Then you would be responsible for paying the first part of the cost up to $5,000 of the $20,000 before your policy will start to pay. Now that we've discussed deductibles, let's talk about coinsurance. Coinsurance is your share of the cost of a healthcare service. It's usually figured as a percentage of the total charge for the service. You pay coinsurance plus any deductibles you still owe. So let's say you've already paid out $5,000 of your deductible. Your coinsurance is 30%. So on the remaining balance of the charges after your deductible, your carrier would pay 70% of the bill if you had a 70-30 coinsurance. So 70% of the $15,000 is $10,500. You would pay 30% and your insurance company would pay 70%, which leaves you a balance of $4,500 to pay. Let's talk about out-of-pocket maximum. Your policy has another important provision that helps reduce the amount of money you may have to pay for larger claims. The out-of-pocket maximum provision limits the most you would be responsible for during any 1 year. This is the most you pay during a policy period annually before your health insurance or plan begins to pay 100% of the allowed amount. This limit never includes your premium, balance billed charges, or health care your health insurance or plan doesn't cover. Some health insurance or plans don't count your co-payments or deductibles when the limit is stated. The maximum out-of-pocket costs for any marketplace plan for 2014 are $6,350 for an individual plan and $12,700 for a family plan. So this provision would cap the amount of money you have to pay when your 30% of the balance reaches $1,350 or $4,400 of a claim over the $5,000 you paid for your deductible. This is how it would look. So now it would be $4,500 is now reduced to $1,350. So the insurance company pays out an additional $3,150 for a total of $10,500 plus $3,150 or $13,650. Leaving you to pay a total of $6,350 out of a claim that was $55,000. Let's talk about copay or copayment. A copay is a fixed amount that you pay for a healthcare service. The amount can vary based on the type of service you will receive. For example, getting a prescription filled is considered a copay. However, prescription copays can vary depending upon whether the drugs are generic or name brand. In some cases, a separate drug deductible will be assessed before brand name drugs are even filled. Here's another example for you. A doctor's office visit might have a copay of $30. The copay for an emergency room visit will usually cost more, such as $150. Some medical plans will have copay for each day you are hospitalized. This is so that any specific procedure or expense can be controlled by a copay. It just depends on the policy. The copay removes the problem of not knowing how much something could cost, because it applies a variable cost to a specific dollar amount. So if during the year you visited a doctor for a procedure or diagnosis, a review of those office visit charges are often converted to a simple flat fixed charge called a copay. Copays are usually outside of the coinsurance and maximum out-of-pocket calculations. That concludes our video on terms and definitions. Thank you again for watching.